Hey, Tamira Hamilton here, digital marketing strategist. I know it's been a while since I have been live. There is so much to, oh, that's cool. There is so much to update you on. I wanted to come on today and share some strategies regarding content marketing in 2021 because I'm going to bring you up to date. So we'll see if we get anybody on here live. I didn't announce this. It's just been, life has been super, super crazy. So I am definitely going to bring you up to speed on some of the things that have been going on. We all know 2020. I came in 2020 with one strategy, and I'm leaving 2021, a little bit different, right? I mean, my content marketing strategy is the same as always. It's just more enhanced, more in depth, more updated, of course. But I did make my return back into the NMDS area, and I really, kind of went into it really quietly, not thinking I would do a whole lot with it. And here I am, because 2020, right? 2020 definitely had the need to do that. But I'm not here to talk to you about me in that business. Just so you know, in marketing that business this year, I have definitely seen some changes as far as online marketing goes. And so I want to talk to you about the need to really, have a solid strategy for 2021. Because here's the deal. Things that we were doing in 2014, 2015, even 2018 no longer are as effective, or if they're even effective at all, in 2020 going into 2021. Okay, so let's talk about why that may be. That may be because, well, Facebook either acquires companies, and when they don't acquire companies, they create similar technology and try to knock that other competition out of the marketplace, because they are really into keeping you onto their platform. Facebook has also told us that groups is important to them, and they've rolled out and features even for things that go and compete against even companies like Zoom, which which hasn't necessarily been a player in the social networking sphere on a large scale to the regular public, until 2020, right? And so then there's also like Google Meet, and so they've opened up and created some things to try to have you do what you would do over on Zoom or Google Meet on Facebook, right? You've got Instagram, which started out as simply photos. Now there's photo, there's video, there's carousels, there's stories, there's reels. So Instagram is 5 or 6 different platforms, excuse me, all at once, right? Plus there's Messenger. Facebook has combined Messenger for all of their apps pretty much. I know definitely Instagram and Facebook. I'm not big on WhatsApp because it's still Facebook owned. And one of the things we're going to talk about is diversifying your presence. And, I could think I'm diversifying by running over to WhatsApp for some things, but then Facebook still owns it, right? So that, even though I don't think it's like if you get shut down on Facebook, you get shut down on WhatsApp, and I don't really do anything to get shut down anyway, not purposely. I did get flagged this year for the stupidest thing. I don't even want to go into that. It's crazy how that went down, but I'm good. I was not able to post for 24 hours or something like that. So there have been a lot of changes, and video continues to be a huge way to make your presence known, to be seen and heard, and get engagement across all social media. YouTube is now playing ads. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because whether or not, I say I want ads played on my videos or not, because YouTube is now saying they're going to play ads. So, you know, and that's what we have to remember. We don't own any of these platforms. We are at their mercy, right? So we're creating content on their platform, and now they're showing ads midstream as many times as they want to. And I think they need to figure that out, because I have a feeling they might end up losing viewers, because like I was watching somebody's video and she could barely get 2 sentences out and they were showing me another ad. And it's like, that's disgusting. That's too much. And so they're either going to lose viewers, or they're going to come up with and make it's going to start being more like cable, right? Where if you want to watch it free, you got to watch all the ads we show you. If you don't want to see ads, then you're going to have to pay for YouTube, whatever it is, that, because there is an ad-free version. And so we may see them pushing that more, so that people like me, I've pretty much replaced TV with YouTube, Hulu, and Netflix. And Hulu is the same way, right? You can watch it with ads, or you can pay more to watch it without ads. So I think that is definitely something that is coming. So when we talk about 2020 content marketing, one of the big things we need to be aware of and creating as part of our disciplined strategy is both active and passive marketing, okay? So one of the things we have to remember, because we don't own these platforms, is that activity on social media is going to be more passive, especially organic, right? Your organic, meaning not paid ads, is going to be more passive. If you have very specific sales goals and that you might not want to rely, and you definitely don't want to rely solely on passive, right? Because passive is you put it up, it's kind of passive. Attraction marketing is a very passive strategy. It is not a active strategy. I mean, it's active in the sense that you're making a post and you kind of post and pray, you kind of post and hope. And even with intention, you still are not making direct call to actions, right? And even when you do, it just still, it's not as active as, say, a phone sales, a belly-to-belly sales, or email marketing, right? It's a lot more targeted. It is more permission-based. It is definitely more active when you do things like messenger marketing, chat bots, email marketing, phone calls, and even old school belly to belly, which I'm very much against, right? Well, not 100% against. It's just not my primary. It's not my chosen. It's not my chosen method, okay? So one of the big things that I noticed here's the deal, right? That sounds kind of crazy coming from me, right? But I mean, it's always been that way. Online is more passive, and it's going to get your results faster when you do active marketing, right? Your active activity, active strategy is going to get your results faster than attraction marketing, which is very passive. That's always been true. But you could still catch a lot more fish back in 2014, 2015 with that passive strategy. But because of all the things I've already talked about in this video, what we're seeing is that you have to be a lot more active than passive these days. You have to have a much more balanced mix of active versus passive, prospecting, sales strategy, closing, conversion, brand awareness strategy. You have to be both active and passive, right? Because a lot of what online is that's organic is truly more not just passive, but it's more the brand awareness and engagement. For conversions, if you want conversions organically, then you definitely are going to need to do some active work. That's your email marketing and your messaging. Okay, so let's talk about that's one thing, right? That's one thing on my list. Check, got that off, right? That's one thing for content marketing for 2020. Whatever you are doing as far as attraction marketing to warm it up, you still need to be going back and having conversations in the DM, right? And if you're an influence booster, this sounds familiar. You're still going to need to be having conversations in the DM to actually close, right? And you're going to be needing to do a lot more of that than we did a few years ago, okay? The other piece is video. Video is just taking over everything. The vast majority of my own content in 2020 has been video. The vast majority of my business content is video, like probably 90%, right? Even on Instagram, if you go over to my Instagram feed right now, and I've been mostly using Haute Chocolat these days on Instagram, video, video, video. It's between Reels, IGTV, and regular video posts, right? So that is all over on Instagram, right? And it's video, right? Pinterest. My Pinterest marketing strategy is primarily video these days, like 90, 95, even 99% video, right? We've also seen where Twitter is now doing stories, and you've got YouTube that when you hit a certain number of followers, you can do stories over on YouTube as well. So a lot of these social media platforms are really kind of melding into one, and we're going to see what happens with that. But video is the best way, the absolute best way for people to get to know, like, and trust you. It's the best way for people to know, like, trust, and remember you. It's video, right? And so what we're seeing with video, and because let me just hashtag pause here for a second, and let me take you back to February, March. I was up to here. I was ready to just walk away from it all and even maybe consider getting a job. You don't know how hard that is for me to say, because I was just overwhelmed. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think, and it was really starting to impact my health. And here's why. Because we know that you need to post this way and this size on Facebook. You need to post this way and this size on Instagram. And there's one way for your profile. There's one way for IGTV. There's another way for stories. Reels wasn't even a thing until like April, right? And then Pinterest is a different size, and you need to do things a little differently on Pinterest. And then there's Twitter, and you need to do things a little differently on Twitter. And it was just really, really overwhelming me, okay? It was completely overwhelming me, overtaking me, and stressing me completely out. Not to mention, you need to learn TikTok and get on TikTok. I was just going crazy. I was absolutely going crazy. So what I had to do was I had to figure out a strategy that allowed me to create video that would work for all the platforms with very minimal to no tweak, so that I could do what brings me joy and comes from ease and flow, because that's my number one rule, right? I hired a coach, got my life back together, and now I work from ease and flow, because I just can't be all over the place, all these platforms, making this size and repurposing this and repurposing that, right? And the reason I'm telling you this is because I used to really primarily operate from a strategy of going live all the time, everywhere, right? Going live once a day, going live 3 times a week, and it just was too much. Number one, I'm highly introverted, right? Number 2, between the watch parties and other strategies, you don't need to go live that frequently. Once a week is generally enough, right? You could probably even do a couple times a month. And here's why. Because what was stressing me out was taking that live video and repurposing it and getting it in the right shapes and formats here and there and here and there. And I finally figured out my system for doing that. And here is what I have found. Here is what has saved me. Here is what has saved my sanity. Here is what has saved my peace of mind, my joy, my ease and flow. And that is 1 minute or less videos. And that is why I love TikTok. 1 minute or less videos is where it's at, right? And so I may still record a video that is longer than that, like this video, and repurpose it, but I'm not doing that day after day, going live day after day. I'm giving myself some mercy and focusing on one video, and remember, this is my only business. One video, and then turning that into all kinds of content, IGTV, Reels, TikTok, stories, all kinds of things, right? And I have a much better feel for when I should go in my story versus do a TikTok. So our attention spans, like I'm finding that even 1 minute videos sometimes are a little too long. So the better we can become at mastering the 6-second video clip, the 8-second video clip, the better off we're going to be, because you need to be able to get that attention quick and things need to move fast in order to keep people's attention. So that's where video is going. It's going to the disappearing content, the ephemeral, or however Facebook, the fancy word they use for it, the content that disappears in 24 hours, and then the 1 minute or less, and even the micro content that's like 6 to 8 seconds. That is the sweet spot, okay? Again, the need to diversify your platforms, because I am so over Facebook with all their glitches and their crashing, and the same with Instagram, because I really believe they're trying to put too much on these platforms and that's why we need to have Snapchat be Snapchat. That's why we need to have TikTok be TikTok, right? Instead of trying to do all these things on one platform. And that's why we are seeing it combined with the fact that a lot of their team is in California, and we know what's happening with this country in terms of corona the virus, right? We know that impacts people not going into the office and actually working at Facebook, and that's also why people are getting very upset about getting flagged and getting put in jail for things, because the AI has not really caught up and learned yet, and there's no human review because everybody's at home, right? And so that's why we need to diversify our platforms, and that's why I have really incorporated TikTok as a major player in my strategy this year, more so than Twitter, as well as Pinterest, okay? So we really want to make sure we are learning and mastering those platforms and creating an audience elsewhere. And the next point is still, you're always going to hear from me, the need to build your email list. And now I'm going to add on to that, and we really need to be also doing text message marketing. We shouldn't be texting every day, and we shouldn't be sending everything via text message, but we need to have a text messaging strategy, because text messages are generally having a over 95% open rate within the minute that it's received. Okay, so that's huge, but we need to be very prudent with what we're sending via text message. And if you don't believe me about text messaging, go back and look at the presidential election. And I'm not going to say which candidate, because this is not a political pulse, but one candidate in particular definitely killed the text messaging and email marketing game. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean that as like high five. Like they were in sync and it worked like clockwork, and it was beautifully played out. It was beautifully played out. Like you could be watching the debates and get a text message, get an email. You know, it was just the way it was orchestrated. I mean, it was executed flawlessly, completely flawlessly, right? But we also can see where people get fatigued from the text messages, right? We also could see that because everybody was talking about it, right? So we don't want to be overdoing it, but it definitely needs to be a part of our strategy, okay? And we've already talked a little bit about this. I'm going to just say a little bit more on that, and that is the reshare and repurpose. You need to create less longer form content, but make more micro content, more short-term content, short form content out of that longer form content. Gary Vee is the king of this, and I've really kind of been following his example this year, and it works. Like I said, it has taken me from frazzled to very calm, cool, collected, like my life again, love what I do again, okay? So resharing and repurpose, less longer form content to more micro short form content that you can pull and reshare and repurpose from that longer form content. Here's the other thing I want to say about resharing and repurposing content. So one of the things is the types of content that people are creating and that actually do certain things in your business is changing. In 2018, the whole I'm a blogger and doing the perfect flat lay was the thing. Not so much in 2020 going into 21, girl. If you're going to still keep doing that, you're going to lose. You're going to lose by you know, try. And here's the other thing: over relying on attraction marketing, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose in 2021 by over relying on attraction marketing, as we've already discussed, right? And the reason I bring that up again is because so many people, they've done so much curiosity marketing, you don't even know what they do. And that's not the purpose of marketing. The purpose of marketing is for people to know what you do. And it's okay to do that when you build a targeted audience. When you build a targeted audience, you are allowed to be able to have a mix of content that is about 20 to 30% promotional, direct call to action. Okay, you can do that, right? And these little cute flat lays are lacking personality, they're lacking originality, and they're lacking creativity. And that is what is getting the attention these days. Originality, personality, your own personality in there, your own branding, and creativity is what is driving the marketplace online right now. That's what's driving attention, okay? Originality, creativity, your own personality, right? Those things are, when you infuse those things into your content, other than these little cute flat lays that really aren't even that cute anymore, they're boring and unoriginal. Originality, put that into your content and you will win, right? So I'll give you an example. So makeup companies were probably, makeup and skincare and beauty probably were the creators of the flat lay, right? Them in fashion, right? And so you see a lot more companies these days, they may still do, product shots, right? But what they're doing is they're doing their product shots in a way that creates texture, right? And dimension. Texture and dimension in your product shots is going to do a lot more for you than a little styled photo with maybe a little bit of shadow to kind of create some dimension. There's some really HD content out there that is very, like I said, a lot of dimension, and you can see texture, and it creates a whole vibe, right? Pat McGrath is amazing, and most of her content is actually video. Pat McGrath's content is absolutely amazing. One of the places I look to for inspiration, right? There are some other major makeup brands. When you look at their page, there's a lot, because they're using texture, they're using dimension, and they're really being creative with their product shots. They're not just plain boring product shots with maybe some props around them. No, they're really going out and using some creative direction. And so that is part of resharing and repurposing, right? Time to update those product shots, time to update from the flat lays to more of a multi-dimensional texture using format. The other thing is this, right? We all love memes, right? Memes are going to video. Video memes are going to be huge, right? Video memes are going to be huge going into 2021. You see a lot of online brands using this strategy, making sure that there are captions on the video, because most video is watched with the sound off and on the toilet, if you didn't know that. And so turning your old memes, turning your old quotes into those 6 and 8 second clips, it's going to be so brilliant for you. It's going to make you stand out in the newsfeed, right? And here's the thing, why I also say moving to more short form content and micro content. You're going to get people who watch the original video when you go live and when you stream. However, very few are going to watch the replay and watch the full replay, especially the way most people do their live videos without a specific formula. You're not going to get a lot of full replay views. So that's why the taking the longer form content, turning it into short form content is so key. Also, like I said, I've seen on TikTok where people have taken, certain funny memes and acted them out. Bringing content to life is part of resharing and repurposing in 2021. You want to take the content and bring it to life, okay? And so that's one example. A meme, go ahead and make it funny. So I'll use my personal timeline, and I will share one of those crazy little Tamira thoughts in my head. You know how you can type out the text with the Facebook background? Those actually do very well from an algorithm standpoint, right? So I will do that and see how people respond to it. And then I'll go over on TikTok and bring it to life, right? And then I'll share it in my story, add it to my Instagram reel. So that is a reshare and repurpose strategy, okay? You're gonna see business pages be a lot more active as well as groups in 2020-21. This whole idea of being able to organically build your business on a Facebook personal page is dying quickly because Facebook knows when you're conducting business. Now, the one exception to that is Marketplace. They are really putting some things in place where you can do like sell posts on your personal timeline, but that's meant to be for a rummage sale type activity. That's not meant to be for full-on business activity. So it's going to be so much more important to be doing content over on your business page and then sharing it to your personal page and to your groups. Groups is where a lot of attention is right now. A lot of, like, you go through your newsfeed and you'll see group posts, group posts, group posts, group posts. And that's because Facebook has said meaningful community, right? And so people want to be in communities where they feel safe, where they feel seen, and they feel heard around a common interest. Facebook has been running ads for the last year on TV about the groups and community. So that's going to be a continuing thing in 2021. And I wouldn't be surprised if ads for groups starts to be a thing, as well as some other features that I've heard are rumored to be coming, okay? And then the last thing is Messenger. Messenger is a platform, all right? And when we talk about all of this, it boils down to, it goes down in the DM. It goes down in the DM, right? So you want to be in the DM having conversation. All of your content, if you want organic conversions, all of your content needs to send people to your inbox. And I'm not saying necessarily by call to action. It should just be a natural progression. It should be a natural progression to getting people to in your inbox and having conversation. Conversation is the new lead. I've been saying that for 2 years now. Conversation is the new lead. If your content is not leading to conversation, it is not going to lead to conversions. I'm going to say that again. If your content isn't leading to conversation, it's not going to lead to conversions. Okay. So why am I telling you all of this? I am telling you all of this because Influence Booster is going to undergo a major overhaul in 2021. So you want to get into Influence Booster now. You want to get an Influence Booster now because you'll get a special price for the Influence Booster 2.0, right? So you want to go over to Influence Booster because Influence Booster, we've got video marketing that needs to be updated. We need to add a unit on Pinterest. We need to update the Instagram and add the Instagram unit, right? We need to update the Facebook marketing unit. Everything needs to be updated. Every single thing we talked about here is going to be added into Influence Booster, and Influence Booster is going to be like, wow, right? So you want to get into Influence Booster. So I'm going to go ahead and put the information here for you to go ahead and get signed up for Influence Booster today so you can get the basics and fundamentals. And then we are either going to, like I said, come up with Influence Booster 2.0, or what I'm actually thinking about doing is a mastermind that's like a next level of Influence Booster where we are updating on these things every single month. And actually that is the plan. I don't know what I'm talking about, Influence Booster getting an overhaul. We're going to do a mastermind in 2020-21, right? We're going to do a mastermind in 2021 that is going to, it's going to be monthly. It's going to be a monthly subscription, and you can sign up for that. So what you want to do today, though, is if you have not signed up for Influence Booster, you want to sign up for Influence Booster because it's going to be your gateway to the mastermind. And if you have currently already been in Influence Booster, DM me for early access to the mastermind. DM me for early access to the mastermind because I've got all this in my head and we need to get it out and help you all with it because I see you guys struggling and I see exactly what you're struggling with. So, okay, mastermind, first mastermind is going to be in January. So let's get an influence booster now. And then in another week or so, I will start opening up the mastermind. However, if you are already an influence booster, you can get in the mastermind now. Just DM me, okay? And my throat is starting to feel a little hurt because this is the most I've talked in God knows when. And it's getting chilly down here. So I'm getting all post-nasal drip and nasally. So I'm going to go. But every year I come to you and I bring you the skinny on what you need to do for the following year, where your focus needs to be with your internet marketing. And I just map that out for you. And that's exactly what we're going to go through in this mastermind that is going to start in January, right? It's kind of like an influence booster 2.0 because it's really, you know, more in depth. It's going live with me every single month. We're going to have a live and we're going to have office hours, and that is going to be more of a small group coaching. So it's not for everybody. I'm probably going to limit it to 25, 30 people, maybe 40, right? 25, 30 people, maybe 40 at the max. So it can be a very intimate group where we all work and support each other, and it'll be a monthly subscription. So I'm really excited about this. It's been a long time coming. I know people have wanted Pinterest marketing from me. They've wanted Instagram marketing from me, but I had to come up with something that's gonna work for me from a standpoint of ease and flow, and not drive me crazy and frazzled and I not want to do it, right? And so this is the best way, is to not, I got to create and launch an Instagram course. How about just create a membership that's like Influence Booster 2.0, and we'll meet monthly and I will update on this, and then we'll also have a monthly Q&A and office hours session. So I'm really excited about it because so many of you have been asking for it for a really long time. So if you're not an influence booster, you want to get an influence booster because you're going to need that for this mastermind, right? Because we're not going to go over the basics in the mastermind. That's why it's a 2.0. You want the basics. You need to get an influence booster now. And then the 2.0 is going to be the mastermind. And I'm going to share money making tips and everything. Okay. So make sure that you go ahead and get Influence Booster. And if you want early access at a reduced price to the mastermind, inbox me today for Cyber Monday pricing. Okay. I will talk to you later. Bye.